Welcome back, sports fans, to another thrilling episode of Sports Central. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Mackey. We're going to get right into it this week with the football playoffs. The IHSAA football tournament started on Friday, and two of your Warwick County teams are still alive. The Castle Knights and the Tecumseh Braves picked up blowout wins on Friday night to advance. The Castle Knights were in Floyd's Knobs to face Floyd Central, and it was really a no contest. The Knights came out and beat the Highlanders 56-12 behind 7 touchdown passes from quarterback Mitch Gillis. 4 of those touchdowns were to John Mark Anderson, one of his favorite receivers. Castle jumped all over the Highlanders right from the start. It was 35-0 at the end of the first quarter, 49-0 at half, and then 56-0 very early in the third quarter when Castle coach Doug Hurt pulled some of his starters to get some rest, keep them healthy, and the Knights still rolled on to the 56-12 victory to advance to the second round. Up in Linville on Friday night, the Tecumseh Braves also picked up a very easy win over rival Wood Memorial. The Braves beat the Trojans 57-0. Similar to that Castle game, it was never really in doubt. Tecumseh was up 30-0 at the end of the first quarter and just rolled from there. The Braves were led by quarterback Adam Grannon. He threw a touchdown pass in the first quarter, and then he picked up 3 touchdown runs throughout the rest of the game. Senior running back Sean Bevan scored 3 touchdowns of his own, and junior wide receiver Spencer Jones caught a touchdown and also scored on a reverse for a 34-yard touchdown run. Jones scored the first 2 touchdowns of the game to put the Braves up 14-0, and it was pretty much over from there. Now those two teams move on to the sectional semifinals on Friday, and once again, like their results were similar on Friday, their matchups are similar this upcoming Friday. The undefeated, third-ranked 5A team, the Castle Knights, 10-0, will host Bedford North Lawrence, who is 5-5. And if you're a Castle football fan, I'm sure you remember that last year in the sectional final, the Knights were 11-0, undefeated, 5th ranked in 5A. Traveled to Bedford and lost to the Stars at 26-21 to end their season. It was one of the bigger upsets of the year in high school football. And it was a pretty tough pill to swallow for Coach Hurt and the rest of the Castle players. And going into this matchup, although Bedford's record is just a very mediocre 5-5, they are playing very well as of late. They're 5-1 in their last 6 games after starting the year 0-4. So Bedford North Lawrence is doing what all coaches want to do, peak at the right time going into the playoffs, so they should be a dangerous opponent. But I can guarantee you that Coach Hurt and some of his players have some payback on their minds after the Stars ruined their perfect 11-0 season last year. So that game will be at Castle on Friday night beginning at 7 p.m. The Tecumseh Braves travel up north a ways to face the North Davies Cougars on Friday night as well. That game is at 6:30. Tecumseh is 6-4, while the Cougars are 4-6. But the North Davies Cougars have beaten Tecumseh 3 times in the last 2 years. They beat them to open the year last year, and then they beat them in the first round of the sectionals. And then this year they beat them once again to open the season. All 3 of those wins were by 7 points, 7 points, and 6 points. And North Davies won on all late fourth quarter touchdowns. So, I mean, that could very easily be 3 wins for Tecumseh over the Cougars. But there's just something about North Davies that Tecumseh can't seem to close them out. But they get another chance at North Davies on Friday. And Tecumseh's playing very well lately. In their last 6 games against 1A opponents, they're 5-1. And whereas North Davies is struggling, after beating Tecumseh to open the year, they finished out 2-7, or 2-6, I mean, to finish the regular season 3-6. but they picked up a win over Union Duggar to advance. And North Davies throughout the year lost to two opponents that Tecumseh beat fairly easily. The Cougars lost to Eastern Green and Springs Valley. Tecumseh beat those two teams 47-31 over Eastern Green and then 50-6 over Springs Valley. So numbers-wise, you have to give the edge to Tecumseh probably, but as I said earlier, the Cougars have Tecumseh's number, so that should be a pretty entertaining game Friday night in or at North Davies, which is in Elnora, Indiana, about an hour north of here. And the third football team in Warwick County is obviously the Boonville Pioneers, and their season came to an end on Friday. It was not very surprising that it did. They were facing the second-ranked 4A team in the state, in the Jasper Wildcats, who were undefeated 9-0. And Jasper prevailed 50-13 over the Pioneers. Was never really a competitive game. Jasper was just too much for Boonville. Boonville ends the year 3-7 after going 7-3 last year, so kind of a disappointing result for many of the Boonville football players, but there is a little bit of a silver lining to end the year for Boonville. Quarterback Evan Hendrickson, who's been starting for the Pioneers since his sophomore year, against Jasper, he broke the career passing yards record for a Boonville quarterback, so he will be etched in the record books for who knows how long, but so congratulations to Evan. And then also offensive lineman Cody Boyer and defensive tackle Daniel Coley were recently named to the All Big 8 Conference team. So congratulations to those two guys as well. And in other sports action around the county, the lone volleyball team still alive, the Castle Lady Knights, fell last night. They hosted the regional championship against the Seymour Owls, and the Owls were just too much for Castle. Seymour won in 3 straight games, 25-13, 25-8, and 25-11 to end Castle's year. The Knights finish up 23-13, but they did win their 19th straight sectional this year, so congratulations.